Can you see the presentation now?
Yes.
Okay. So today, inshallah, we're going to cover chapter 5. And the title of our chapter is Small Business and Entrepreneurship and Franchising. Okay. Here we have the learning objectives or the learning outcomes of our session today. Today, inshallah, we are going to look at the definition of entrepreneurship, what we mean by entrepreneurship, and what we mean by small businesses. We're going to go also to investigate the importance role of small businesses in USA economy and why certain fields attract small businesses more than other industries or more than other fields. Okay. And we are going, inshallah, to identify the advantage and disadvantage of small business ownership. What is the advantage and disadvantage of the small business ownership? And why many small businesses fail or succeed in the marketplace. And we're going to know also about how the entrepreneurs can start their small businesses. For example, how they can make a business plan. And what is the resources they need for their businesses or their small businesses, and how they can secure these resources. Okay. So, the nature of entrepreneurship. What we mean by entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, we define entrepreneurship as the process of creating and managing a business to achieve a desired objectives. So we can define the entrepreneur's person as the person who is risking his own wealth or his own time and his own effort to develop, for example, a new innovative product or a new services to the community, or maybe a new way of doing something to the community, and he's aiming for profit. Okay. Entrepreneurship move is accelerating now, and many new small businesses are emerging with other big companies and with each other as well. They can benefit from the technology which is available nowadays for most of the small businesses. They can use, for example, some website to launch their small businesses or make advertisement. They can use podcast. They can use online videos. They can use also social media and phones, and even the delivery services, the speed of delivery services. All of these technology development enables small businesses to be more competitive with other companies in the marketplace. And some of the small businesses, they make alliances with some of the companies to sell their product or services to the domestic market, domestic market, or sell their product for the global market as well. Now, there is a growing trend in the small businesses that we call it social entrepreneurship. So what is social entrepreneurship? Social entrepreneurs they are individuals, entrepreneurs. They use the same concept and the same principles of entrepreneurship to provide or to address a social problem. Their target is to solve social issues. And usually social entrepreneurs, they don't aim for profit. Usually they don't aim for profit. Okay. Now, what is a small business? How can we define small business? Small business is defined. Yeah.
Sorry for interruption, but can you give example for social entrepreneurship?
Most of the institutions that we don't have many examples here in Saudi Arabia, but most of the institutions, the entrepreneurs, the startup entrepreneurs, they, for example, they come up with ideas that solve a social problem. They don't aim for a profit for that. I'm trying to find an example from here, from our context in Saudi Arabia. Can anybody have an example of social entrepreneurs? Yeah, go ahead. Nobody can help us with an example of social entrepreneurs? Yes, Ahad.
It's Uber. ممكن يكون Uber ولا Uber Eats.
Yeah, even Uber Eats, but they aim for a profit. Uber Eats. They don't address the social problems.
طيب social media.
I would give an example. Most of the charities, the Saudi charities, most of them, they use some innovative way in their businesses, in their operation of the charities, and most of these things are related to solving social problems. They don't aim for a profit, for example. Anything related to charities, they don't aim for a profit. So, for example, if some charities in Saudi Arabia, if one of the charity come up with a new idea of how to collect money or fund money, or come up with a new idea on how to help some of the poor family in Saudi Arabia, this is considered as a way of solving social problems.
Fawzan apartments. We have Fawzan apartments here in المنطقة الشرقية في الخبر, where people who are like families of people who are in prison, they live in it as a charity as well.
Yeah, it could be an example as well. Now, what is a small business? Small business, we can define small business as any independently owned and operated business that is not dominant in its competitive area or not ruling the competitive environment. Okay, this is a small business. Now, it is difficult for sometimes it is difficult to identify the small business because our perception of smallness is relative from one person to another person. But usually, any small business, any business that employ less than 500 employees, we consider it as a small business. Okay. We have another term here, which is called Small Business Administration, or SBA. This term is not applicable here in Saudi Arabia, but is applicable in USA. It is an independent agency of the federal government that offers managerial and financial assistance to the small business. Now, usually SBA provide information or assistance to the small businesses owners on how to start the business, how to assist them managerially and financially. In Saudi Arabia, we have something else. We don't have SBA, but we have a similar agency or a similar organizations. Some of the initiatives by the Ministry of Commerce, the Saudi Ministry of Commerce, is called Munshaat. Are you familiar with Munshaat?
Yes.
Yeah, Munshaat is one of the initiatives that established by the Ministry of Commerce, and it is mainly supported, they support small and medium enterprises for the first, it depends on the company or in the business. Sometimes they support them for the first 2 to 3 years, and sometimes for the first 5 years. Okay, it depends on the size of the business and the type of business you are doing. Okay. Now, most of the shops that we see in malls and everywhere are considered as a small businesses. Most of the big shops. I'm not talking about the small shops that you see in the street. I'm talking about the shops that you see in the malls. Most of them are considered as small businesses. And we have some industries that attract small businesses more than other industries. Like, for example, who can give me some industries that attract small businesses more than others? For example, we don't see small businesses in car industry, in manufacturing cars. We see big companies.
We can see that in ladies' things like abayas, perfumes.
Perfect. We see industries like food industries, retailing industries. Most of these industries are consisting of small businesses more than others. Now, some of the small businesses are owned by women, and some of them are owned by minority in USA. So we have two types of ownership. We have women-owned business, and we have minority-owned business. Women-owned business responsible for employing millions of workers in USA, and women own more than 9 million business nationwide. And I believe here in Saudi Arabia, we have a growing number of small businesses which owned by women. In terms of the minority-owned business, in USA, it is growing faster than other classifiable forms in any industries there. It represents 28.6% of all small businesses in USA. So you can imagine the growing number of minority-owned businesses in USA. They are more than the quarter of the small businesses are owned by minority in USA. Now, what is the role of innovation in small businesses? Small companies or small businesses provide products more than half of the. They provide more than half of all the innovation in business. Most of the small businesses have a great ability in terms of flexibility to innovate, to create, or to provide innovative product, or provide innovative services to the customers. Small firms, they can make up approximately 2% of the franchisees. And we're going to talk, inshallah, today at the end of our session about franchising and franchisees and how to get a license for franchising, okay? Most of the big companies today, they started their businesses as a small firms, and then by the time and by growing the growing number of businesses each day, they use innovation to achieve their goals and succeed and become after years as a big business or a big companies, okay? Entrepreneurs provide fresh ideas and usually have greater flexibility to change than larger firms. They have more access to innovation, and this is why we sometimes encourage big companies to pay attention to their entrepreneur role as entrepreneurs, okay? Now, for example, here we have Etsy company, which is one of the e-commerce site that sells homemade and vintage items. Now, this small company was traded publicly. You can imagine it was traded publicly in 2015. And now it is valued over 3 billion. And it was started as a small business. Now, small business ownership. What is the advantage and what is the disadvantage of small business ownership? First of all, we have a number of advantages, like, for example, independence, cost, flexibility, focus, and reputation. We're going to talk about each of them in more details in the next slides, inshallah. What about the disadvantage? High stress level for the owner, high failure rate. Most of the small businesses, they expect to fail in the first 2 to 5 years from their beginning time in the business. Undercapitalization. They suffer from securing the fund for the small business. Some of the disadvantage also, managerial inexperience or incompetence, which is quite familiar with all of the small businesses. Inability to cope with growth. And this is most importantly, okay, because most of the small business, if they have the required condition to succeed in the marketplace, they need to deal with the growth, okay, to become a big companies. Most of the small businesses, they start to fail because they have they are unable to cope with the growth. They don't have the capacity to deal with the, for example, with the exchanging environment, with the innovation, with the technology development, although they have great flexibility to make use of the innovation, but sometimes in terms of the growing businesses, they start to face some challenges in the marketplace. Okay, we're going to talk about each of these, inshallah, in more details. Now, what is the successful traits of young entrepreneurs?
What about the reliability?
In which terms? You mean
as an advantage or disadvantage?
You mean as a small business, you as a customer have a great reliability to the business, or what? Can you explain more?
I mean the reliability in terms of the owners themselves.
Okay, in terms of what is
advantage and disadvantage. You know?
Yeah, in terms here, the advantage.
Paying the taxes and this term.
They need small businesses. They need to follow the rules of the government, whatever the rules.
Okay, but the shape of the corporate itself as a single owner or
we're gonna talk because we're gonna talk about the small business, how to make a business plan. And the first step to make the business plan, you need to figure out what is the business that you want to take or to operate in the market. And the second thing is, what is the best structure organization for your business? So you need to choose, is it a corporation, is it a sole proprietorship, is it a partnership, and so on.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna go through this, inshallah.
Okay, doctor.
Now, successful traits of young entrepreneurs. We have here some traits that would be, if these traits exist in the entrepreneurs, then we can say this entrepreneur is a successful individual and he can start his business. And we have some ideas that this business would succeed in the future. Okay, so we have one of the traits is intuitive. What we mean by intuitive? Using one's intuition to derive what's true without conscious reasoning. Meaning that the idea here is, as an entrepreneur, you need to use your intuition to predict any possible change in the marketplace and how to act to this change in the marketplace. Okay. The second one, which is productive. What we mean by productive means getting things done in a specific time. Don't delay some of the work related to your business. Okay. You need to be resourceful. What we mean by resourceful? Understanding how to use and spend resources wisely, how to distribute your financial resources, how to distribute also your human resources wisely, okay, for what is the benefit for your business. You need to be charismatic as entrepreneurs. What we mean by charismatic? Having the ability to inspire others. Others here we mean employee, customers, suppliers, and so on. Okay, you need to inspire other people behind a central vision. You need to be visionary. Okay, innovative, and this is most importantly as entrepreneurship. You need to create something or being able to come up with the new ideas, creative ideas or creative thoughts. Okay, you need to be a risk taker. Most of the entrepreneurs, they must take risk, for example, to put their money in their business. They must take risk, for example, to leave their job and start their business, their own business. You must take risk, okay? Persistence. Here, persistence, we mean you need to continue on a certain action in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the challenge. You need to be persistent, okay? You need to be friendly. For example, friendly with your interaction with other people, friendly with the customers, with the suppliers, with the distributors, with anyone related to your business. And most importantly, you need to give as much as you gain in the business. Okay? Don't be selfish in your business. Business is is a means of giving and giving something and getting something back. Okay, give as much as you gain in the business. This is most importantly. Now we're going to go through the details of the advantage of the small business. As we said before, one of the advantage of small businesses is independence. What we mean by independence here, you are the owner of the business. So you are independent. You don't have an employer to say you have to do this and you have to do that. Okay. Independence here in the small business means to choose, for example, who you want to work with. And you have the flexibility to choose where to work. For example, you could work from home, you could work from any places. Okay. You have
and you're responsible.
You are responsible for everything. Yani you make the decision for your business. Okay. You control your business here. You are independent from any other person or any other corporations. Okay. Now, many people, they start their own businesses because they believe they will do better for themselves more than they could do by remaining, for example, with their current employer or by changing their job. Okay. So independence is the first one. Most of the employees, they leave or quit from their jobs just because they want to start their own business. Okay. Now, another advantage, which is the cost. What do you think of the cost of small businesses? Is it high cost or low cost? Low cost. Cost, most of the small businesses required less money to start the business and even less money to maintain the business for the future. Okay. As an owner of a small business, you spend, for example, less money on wages, you spend less money on salaries and rent and utilities and so on. If we compare small businesses to the large companies, the cost is quite low compared to the large companies because of the size of your business is small, not like the big companies. Okay. In a small business, you could, for example, use external firms to handle some of the functions in your business, like, for example, accounting or advertising. You can handle these functions to other people or other organizations. You can use, for example, legal counseling or even HR. You can outsourcing HR department. Okay. In small business, you could use friends and family and work as a volunteer in your business. So you benefit. You have the chance to cut the cost in the small business. Okay. And the cost, as we said before, the cost is minimized in small businesses comparing to the big companies. So this is one of the advantages. Another advantage of small businesses, which is flexibility, focus, and reputation. What we mean by flexibility here? Flexibility means small businesses allows flexibility to adapt to changing in the market demands. You can easily make a decision required to implement any change that is required by the market demand, okay? Because you are the owner, so you have the independent, you are independent, and you are flexible. You can control these things, okay? Another thing, which is focus. What we mean by focus here in small businesses, most of the small businesses, they focus their effort in market niche, or we said in a specific group of customers. Okay, most of the small businesses, they do that. It's not like the big companies. Big companies have a variety of products, a variety of services that could meet the demands of many customers. Okay, but small businesses, most of them, they focus their product or their services for a specific group of customers. And because they focus their effort for a specific group of customers, this thing would allow them to build a great reputation for them, okay? Because they can, for example, they can provide a specific service for a specific customers, like for example women or children or adult or any type of customers. Okay, you can gain in small businesses. They can gain customer loyalty easy. They can gain a reputation for a good product quality. Okay, it's not difficult for them like other companies or like big companies. Okay. Now, in terms of the first one in the disadvantage is high stress level. Now, the owner of the small business, they live with a high level of stress because most of the small business owners, they are more likely rely on the business to providing them with what they need for living. Okay. So they don't have any other businesses, like for example, they have only some of the employees, they quit from their job and start their business, and they don't have any income. They only have one income, which is the small business. They are not employed by any other jobs, so a different income, for example. Okay. The owner of the small business, they have ongoing worries, for example, about the competition and the competitors, the employee, how they can pay the salary for the employee, or any other problems with the employee. They have some worries about any new equipment they need for the business, how they expand their business or expanding inventory, how they gonna pay the rent, and what if the rent increases, okay, for their shops, for example. And they worry also about any changing in the market demand. Okay. The owner of the small businesses are usually the manager of the business. They are responsible for everything in the business because they want to cut the cost. Okay. So they are taking more responsibility in their businesses. They are responsible, for example, for the sales force. They are responsible for the shipping, receiving, and any other responsibility. Okay. They would rather to take this responsibility rather than to give it to another person because they want to cut the costs of the business. So we can say entrepreneurs or the owner of the small businesses, they are a multitasking. What we mean by multitasking, a person who work for a long hours. Now, many of the small businesses owners fail not because their business concept or ideas is not good, but because they can't deal with the difficulties in terms of managing the business. Okay, and this is why most of like we have Munsha'at here and some of the government agencies, they provide assistance for the small businesses to tackle the position in the marketplace. Okay. Now another disadvantage, which is called high failure rate. Half of all small businesses fail within the 5 years because of is undercapitalization. Undercapitalization means most of the owner of the small business, they lack of fund to operate the business normally, and usually they rely on their friends, their families to provide them with the fund needed for their businesses. Okay. Some of them, they would take loans from the bank. Okay. The thing is, the owners of the small business, they need to make sure they have a good financial plan for sustainability of the business. They want to continue their business. Okay. Another reason or another disadvantage, which is managerial inexperience or incompetence. Now, for entrepreneurs or the owner of the small business, just because the owner have a brilliant idea doesn't mean that he or she have the knowledge or the experience needed to manage the business. You could have a great idea and thoughts about what you are going to do in the business, but you don't have to implement it. Okay. And this is quite difficult. You see, most of the small businesses, they fail because the difficulties they face in terms of having the required skills for managing the business. Inability to cope with growth. Now, sometimes the advantage of the small business can become later a disadvantage. Like, for example, potential growth is considered as one of the advantage of a small business. You can develop your business and grow in the marketplace, okay? But this potential growth in the small business can become a disadvantage if you can't manage this growth well, okay? So, for example, in growth, when if your business is starting to become bigger, by that time, you need to give control. You need to give up some authority and pass control to other people to manage the business, okay? As your business becomes bigger and larger. Now, starting a small business. How to start a small business? As entrepreneur, starting a new business begin with an idea. Okay, you have an idea, or having a concept or general idea about what you want to do as a business, okay? And then you create a business plan. And this business plan must include a strategy for your business. For example, planning for financial resources, planning for human resources, how you're gonna get those resources, okay? Planning for the development for the future also. You need to do this in the business plan. Your plan also must specify some decisions, like, for example, what is the best form of ownership that works for your business or suitable for your business? The financing aspect, how are you going, or how much capital or money you need to start your business, and how are you going to secure the funds for the future for your business, okay? You need to decide whether, for example, to acquire existing business, or maybe start a new business, or maybe buying a franchise, okay? You need to make a decision about these things. Now, business plan. As an entrepreneur or an owner of a small business, you need to come up with a business plan. What is a business plan? Precise statement of the business rationale and step-by-step explanation of how it will achieve its goal. This business plan must include, for example, explanation of the business, what is the business about, analysis of the competition environment, what are the potential competitors for your business, you need to state that. What are the estimation in terms of the income and the expenses that you're gonna pay for the business, okay? What is your strategy for acquiring the sufficient fund to keep the business going on to the future, to keep the sustainability of the business? You need to clarify all of these things. And most importantly, for the business plan, you need to revise this business plan from time to time on a continuous basis, because we live nowadays, we live in a business world which is quite changeable, rapidly changeable, and you need to act to these changes. Otherwise, you're going to fail in your business. So you need to revise your business according to any changes that happen in the world or in the environment, in the competitive environment. Okay. Before we go to the forms of business ownership, I want to show you a video about how to make a business plan.
If you are starting a business, then you will need a plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Map, taking you on the straightest, fastest route to where you want to go. Your business plan will include 6 sections and will help you think through your business idea. making sure you have covered all the angles and eventualities before you set off. The first section is the executive summary, presenting an overview of your business. This section is vital, as many investors make their judgments about your business based on it alone. A great tip is to leave this section until last to write. Once you have written the others, you will find it easier to do, as it will be a summary of the key points you make in other sections. So start with your business details. Provide a short description of who you are, giving your profile and a description of your business. What do you plan to sell? Explaining your product or service. Why? What need or want will your product or service satisfy? And to whom? Who are your targeted customers? Also include the location of your business. Identify key employees or team members, and any other qualities that make your business stand out. Now enter your marketing and sales strategy. Show that you have done your homework, that you understand your target market. Outline why you think people would buy what you want to sell, and detail how you plan to sell to them. Then add in your management team and personnel or human resource. People reading your plan need to believe and have trust in the management of your business. So outline your credentials and the people you have or plan to recruit. Then detail your setup, explaining what facilities and assets the business will have, such as your machinery and equipment, premises, management information systems and IT. And explain how these will deliver the product or service to the customer. Also indicate your legal business structure as well as the regulatory and compliance requirements relevant to you. Lastly, list your financial plan and projections. This part translates everything you have said in the previous sections into numbers, emphasizing all project costs as well as financial projections. It will tell you whether the business will be worthwhile, or whether you're wasting your time and or money. Your business plan will change as your business grows. It will help keep you focused, so you know where you are and where you're supposed to be, so that you can correct your course as needed. Here are our 5 top tips. Keep it brief. If it takes too long to write, it will take too long to read. Just get to the point. Be realistic, be honest, and note all the challenges facing your business. Forecast your business for 5 to 10 years. Use visuals, graphs, charts, and images can help bring your idea to life. And be creative, so that your business stands out and grabs attention. For more details, visit our website and download our business plan template.
Clear? Clear?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. Which website is that? In case to download the business plan.
Send me an email and I will send you the video, okay?
Thanks so much.
Just a second. Now, do you remember the forms of business ownership that we covered last week? What are the forms of business ownership that we covered last week?
Partnerships,
Partnerships,
corporation,
and sole
sole
proprietorship.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, after you develop your business plan, you need to make a decision regarding the ownership of the business. What is the best structure that would be suitable for your business. Okay. So after developing the business plan, the entrepreneur needs to make a decision about what is the business structure that is works for his business. And we have three forms that we covered last week, which is sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation. Okay, you need to make a decision about this. Okay. Now, do you remember what you said before? You need to identify the resources for your business in your business plan. Now, what is the financial resources? Financial resources is a problem for most of the small businesses. Okay, how to secure funds or how to secure the finance aspect for your business. Most of the small businesses owner has to put up a significant percentage of the necessary capital. Okay, and not all of the owners of small businesses have the required money. They can, for example, they can use loans from banks. They can take some money, borrow some money from friends or from family to start up their businesses. So we have here only two options for financing the financial aspect of the business. Financing options here, we have equity financing and we have debt financing. And most of the small businesses, they use debt financing. So what is the difference between them? Equity financing. Equity financing means that the owner of the small business, they use their own personal assets rather than borrowing anything from others. Okay. For example, they use their office, their furniture. You could use your home as a location. You could, for example, keep one of the rooms in your home as an office for your business. Okay. They use anything related to them to secure the funds for the business, and they don't take any borrowing money from outside sources to get started with the business. Also, equity financing include finding investors, okay, for the business. For example, you could give your family or family members or friends or any employee or any other investors or any other individuals. You could give them stocks in the business in return of some money to start with the business. Okay, this is equity financing. What about debt financing? Debt financing means borrowing money from others. You borrow the money from others. And especially debt financing means borrowing more than half of the financial resources. So you borrow not a small amount that you need in the business, but you borrow half of the required financial, half of the money that you need for your business. Okay. What are the sources that you can get money from? You could get money from the banks. Okay. And this is the main suppliers for most of the small businesses owner. You can get fund from or money from the federal level, or here you could get it from منشآت. They have loans for the small businesses. Okay. You could get money from some family and friends. Okay. You could borrow some money from them and repay them in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. It depends on the agreement between your friends or your family. Okay. Now, what are the options for small businesses? Starting from scratch or buying an existing business. Now, starting from scratch could be expensive and requires great effort from individuals because they need to familiarize the customers with their business and their product and their services. طيب. They need more time and more effort if you're starting from scratch. But on the other hand, if you buy, for example, existing business already, you are advantaged from everything is already established in the business. The built-in network, for example, of customers. Already you have the customers for the business. Already you have the suppliers. Already the distributors are established in the business. Okay, so you are saving the effort. You are saving money if you buy existing business. But one of the disadvantage is when you buy an existing business as an entrepreneur, you are also taking everything related to the business. So, for example, if this business have a financial obligations, you are taking on all of these financial obligations. Okay, this is one of the disadvantage if you buy existing business. Now, franchising. What is franchising? We have three main terms in franchising. The first one, which is the franchise, okay, and the franchisor and the franchisee. So the franchise means the license that you get. It is a license to sell another's product or to use another's name in business, or maybe both. You could use their names and you could sell their product as well. Okay. The other term, which is franchisor. Who is the franchisor? The company that sells the franchise. Okay. Who is the franchisee? Is the buyer or the purchaser of the franchise. Okay. So usually in the franchising relationship, the franchisee pays, for example, the franchisor some fees, and this fees could be monthly, could be annually, according to the percentage of profit or sales. Okay, they have an agreement about these details, and in return, the franchisor in return, he could provide, for example, they could provide, for example, some management assistance. They could provide some specification or recommendation about the site of the business, about the building of the business. Okay, sometimes they provide support, some financial support in terms of lowering the fees. Okay, and most importantly, they provide the name of the company and the product. Okay, now what is the advantage and disadvantage of the franchising? One of the advantage, and the first advantage, is the available training and support from the franchisor. As a franchisee, you benefit from the franchisor. You get training for your employee. You get support from them in terms of how to start up the business, not start up the business, but how to build this franchising or this product name in your context. Okay. One of the advantage also, brand name appeal. The existing of well-known brand from the franchisor, you are advantage from this. And another advantage, which is standardized quality of goods and services, which is provided usually by the franchisor. You don't need to be more creative and come up with a new product or new service. You have everything available for you. Okay. You benefit from the national and local advertising, which is usually used by the franchisor, and it is globally. Like, for example, McDonald's. If you get the franchising of McDonald's in Saudi Arabia, you benefit from the global advertisement of McDonald's. Financial assistance. Now, some of the franchisor, some of them provide assistance, financial assistance. In terms of lowering the fees. Some of them, as a franchisee, you are attached with a strong company, which is the franchisor, and this would give you more chance to get loans from banks, for example. Okay. Now, in terms of the banks, if you are starting a new business and another client come to the bank and he is a franchisee, the bank would give the loan for the franchisee more than the starting new business. Okay. Now, another advantage, which is certain or proven products and format. As the franchisee, you don't have a certain business format to follow. You have a certain business format to follow. You don't need to come up with a new format or new procedures or new instructions for the business. Okay. Another advantage, which is centralized buying power. As you are not you are not a new brand or a new product or new service. Okay, so you have a buying power most of these comes from international based. Site selection by the franchisor. They could make recommendation for the site selection for your business. Territorial protection, since you are associated with big companies like the franchisor. Okay. Greater chance for success as a franchisee more than the startup businesses. Okay. Now this is the advantage. What about the disadvantage? The first thing of the disadvantage is the fees that you have to pay for the franchisor. Okay. So your profit is shared with them. Fees and profit sharing with the franchisor. Okay. Standardized operation. You can't change anything about the operation because it belongs, you as a business belong to the franchisor. Okay. You need to consult them with any changes that you want to do with the business. Restrictions on purchasing from the franchisor. Now, some of the franchisors sometimes force you to buy some of the products from them. Okay, so you don't have any choice, but buying from them. Limited product line, as it is provided by the franchisor. Possible market saturation. There is a great chance that the market is filled with the product or the service. Okay, as a franchisor and as a franchisee as well. Less freedom in decisions. You can't make any decisions without reflecting those decisions to the franchisor. Okay. You are constrained by the franchisor. Now I'm going to show you a video about the franchising.
Not know it, but you're part of a business model that's fraught with. The next time you pull up to the drive-thru, you may not know it, but you're part of a business model that's fraught with turmoil. The model's called franchising, and it's spreading. Maybe you've heard the phrase fast food franchise, but do you really know what it means or how it works? You might be surprised by how franchising is affecting your community and the whole economy. We're talking way more than burgers and fries. On one side, a company decides it has a good thing going. It wants to expand, but it doesn't want to run all the new locations. It's just not familiar enough with those places. It might be short on money for the expansion, and it doesn't want to employ a bunch of local workers. And the company wants the person in charge of each location to be someone special, someone with skin in the game. On the other side is that special person. She wants to start a business. She knows the local market. She has some money to invest or can qualify for a loan. But not enough to buy property, fix it up, buy all her equipment, and maybe not enough for much marketing. She might not know the industry very well and would rather not go it alone. So, the sides make a deal. The company gives its new franchisee what she needs to hit the ground running. She takes the company's training course and pays an initial fee for the franchise. The franchise model depends on a good brand. That means more than anything, consistency. If it's fast food, you'll see the same thing at every drive-thru window. Cashiers wearing the same logo, menus offering the same food, all prepared in the same way. The customers remain loyal to the brand, no matter where they go. What protects the brand is the franchise agreement. The rules for a franchisee might cover everything from operating hours to where she buys supplies. The agreement also requires the franchisee to pay royalties, typically 5 to 10% of the location sales. But there's no guarantee the franchise will flourish. Franchisees go belly up about as often as unfranchised owners. Still, many franchisees manage to hang on. Some do well, even open other locations. The company and its franchisees don't always see eye to eye. The company might impose a higher royalty. It might limit any flexibility in finding supplies and setting prices. The franchisee can start to feel overburdened. But if she doesn't sign on and follow the rules, the company might take over the franchise. She might lose her business. For the company's part, it has reasons to write rules and enforce them. Making all franchisees buy from the same supplier can help bring down cost, and higher fees can fund more advertising. The company also wants its franchisees to follow standard rules. Freeloading on the brand is not allowed. Franchise employees, the folks who work behind the cash register, let's say, they're not known for earning big bucks, but economists disagree about why. Some blame the wages and work conditions on the industries where franchising has taken off, where competition is cutthroat and the jobs are low-skilled. Other economists blame low wages on the franchise model itself. When a company franchises, they point out, it's adding extra owners. That means more people taking slices of the pie, so there's more pressure to cut costs, like wages. And this leaves less money for the workers. There's another debate about franchising, how it affects the economy. One side claims the model has proven itself more efficient. That can mean lower prices for consumers, more consumption, so more production and more jobs. The other side claims that franchising leaves the workers with less money for buying stuff, and that means less consumption, less production, and fewer jobs. We'll let the experts keep fighting about that. One thing is clear, though. This way of doing business, the franchise model, it's spreading. Gas stations, car dealerships, restaurants, convenience stores, hotels, eyewear retailers, tax services, childcare centers, legal services, news media, janitorial services, home health care, dry cleaners, salons, house cleaning, IT support, carpet cleaning, pet supplies, hardware store, tutor.
Got it? Now, some of the franchises, they require to have initial fees to get the franchise, for example. One of the most expensive companies that requires initial fees for to take their franchising is McDonald's. I think it's over 1 million to take just the franchise from them. Any question? Guys, are you there?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, it's clear.
Any question? We finished our slides today. We finished our presentation about chapter 5.
Thank you.
Okay. Prepare yourself for the next activity, inshallah. Okay.
It's on Thursday, right?
I think, yeah, it's going to be on Thursday. And you have 2 sessions on Thursday. The first one from 12 to 2 p.m. and the second one from 4 to 6 p.m. And try to practice. I think you have a small quiz that you can practice. And the quiz, the activity is going to last for 20 minutes only. And try to choose only, you must choose only one session, okay, to do the activity. Any question?
دكتورة البرزنتيشن اتلغى ولا حيكون يعني؟
Which presentation?
انت في أول محاضرة تكلمت عن إنه حنسوي برزنتيشن آخر الترم وهيك يعني بس ما في توزيع الدرجات أي برزنتيشن.
Regarding this course, maybe I was talking about, are you with me in LB 170?
No.
Because we don't have in LB the initial syllabus in LB 170 they talked about student presentation, but now it's cancelled.
اوكي.
We have only 3 activities we're gonna do in this semester inshallah, and 2 quizzes. The 2 quizzes account for 20 marks, 10 marks for each, and the 3 activities account for 30 marks, which is a replacement for the midterm exam.
Yeah.
And the
Okay,
final
thank
is
you.
yeah.
تمام، شكرا، يعطيك العافية.